I am Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, episode number 5. Just at the end of our last episode, we fell into a problem of just beginning to come up short in terms of both our water availability and our sewage treatment. We have just a single pump in and a single flowing right out into the ocean. Not a good way to handle sewage situation. So it is time to go ahead and invest. It's a fair bit of money for the wastewater treatment plant, which is going to bring 50% of the sewage treated back into water circulation. That's handy in two ways. So let's go ahead and get this one set up. So our wastewater treatment plant just getting fired up. The upkeep is a little expensive, which was why I stayed away from it before. But now that we have a need, getting on with that need is going to help. Usage is already up to 26%. Available upgrades, which of course are things we're going to probably want to get into later. Advanced filtering system increases the sewage purification rate, resulting in more sewage being turned back into fresh water. Adds an additional 25% to the 50% that we have now, so it would bump it to 75. But that's an extra $30,000 a month, and $900,000, which is 2/3 of the finances we have now. We definitely don't want to do that. The extra processing unit, it's another $40,000 additional sewage treatment, so it increases the capacity of the facility. Let's just check into how things are looking now. You see, the sewage treatment is easily covering what we have heading out, and then the water availability is also increased as a result, not significantly. That takes care of all of the sewage that was outgoing, and we can actually probably just go ahead and get rid of the old one and not have anything outgoing any longer. I didn't know Parks got happy, but that's a happy park. We're going to start today by checking out our needs now that we've already handled the immediate need, starting with our info panel and kind of going through bit by bit. Roads, everything seems to be in good working order. Our parking facilities, a good half of the spots are being used, and that's bringing in an additional about $4,000 a month. Traffic, slightly heavy in area, but none of it is severe. Except for right there. Okay, our new off-ramp, on-ramp, is being used pretty significantly. Car not knowing how to handle it. Why is there a light? There shouldn't be a light there. It's a traffic circle. No wonder we're having issues. Can we do away with the light? There we go. Now it's cleared up. A little bit. This is just a little wonky right there and how that's turned out. That connection. Live action, we have a fire, a couple of small houses near the freeway. Fire services have responded. They've got one fire put out, and the other as well. That's good. The scary thing for us was our signature building, the Bolter Pines, is literally right next door to it, so that could have been scary. This house already burned down, was the first one that caught fire, and then it moved on towards those two. A new signature building is available, the chemical plant. I guess that's useful, sort of. Be really nice if I can get our industries to where we have surplus instead of deficit. That seems to be one of the best ways to go, but there are material goods as well. Totally different industries, and there are surplus in some of them. Petrochemicals is one where we're producing a lot but still have a deficit. Beverages are being exported. But it's clear that we could do more when it comes to both wood and grain in particular, livestock. We need more farms. I've just added one more into this region. But there's a pretty healthy pocket of what could be a couple of farms kind of back to back here outside of our current city limits that we need to kind of get into if we are going to utilize. So that means we need to get into these squares through here. And then here's all this forest. So I think we're going to make use. That's 5. Or do I want to do it along here? Because here's where our road connection is going to be. This is going to kind of turn it all into a farming region. Alright, so that does open that up. And with it, new areas, new industry, new farms. So here's what we're kind of picking up with that. I do have some leftover that we could use for simple row housing or something along those lines. You know what? Actually, that's, I think, a wonderful idea. Let's get some out in the boonies housing available. And we need a tiny bit of commercial, so let's get one little commercial out here as well. And we have some farms. Okay, so here's what we have. For one, this is forestry, encompassing this area here. But then we have 3 farms. This one at Emerson Street. Grain, that's a big one out here. The other big one is livestock. Now, once you get the employees up, the efficiency is going to go up quite a bit. But part of this is out of regional demand. Now, this one's going to be very low on efficiency, but we might as well use the space and do it anyway, and that is cotton. That pocket that we had left of that farming area that encompassed these 2 farms didn't have much left over. Let me show you what it's looking like. Oh, you can't really see it anymore. Well, okay. Really kind of only the pocket was here and to here. So all of this is just land that's not going to be very efficient at growing the cotton, plus some that is, but we might as well make use of the land. So did what we had to. For the other 2, we're dealing with the edges of the circles, which is why we have these little more odd shape. But for now, that negative balance is getting rather small. We are starting to make some money anyway. At some point, I know our situation out here is going to change, but as we have high demand, we might as well use it for now, and we can restructure this later on when necessary. So just put this all in. That'll see that demand fall right down. That medium density stuff, though, that's something we've got to do. Mixed housing could be a good option. Not in the industrial area, though, so where would we want to put that? Probably along this road. Alright, back to the industrial need. And I suppose industrial row is finally going to be fully industrial row. and that takes care of all of our short-term needs in terms of zoning. We've still got a little ways to go till our next level up, our next upgrade. So let's check in on some things, because we've done quite a bit of expansion here. For one thing, I still have this whole pocket that we've set up but aren't utilizing, as we've been, focused on the growth of this one. I have plenty of room set up for commercial that we're just not needing. I could maybe push that industrial a bit further this way to make use of it, because that's not going to all end up being commercial. Or do I decide to throw in a little more residential really close to that industrial? Maybe we need to get back to kind of what it was we were seeing here. This intersection has been a bit of a nightmare to sort out. I need a traffic circle for my traffic circle, as it's just not functioning how it's supposed to. And trying to fit this in, trying to make this work, has been a headache. I think we're going to have to kind of back to the drawing board for some of this. I think I finally got the traffic situation solved. We'll see if it actually works as planned, but getting our merge on, and the traffic circle does seem to be freeing it up. There's a little bit of a yield in there. Got one last truck that's still trying to sort himself out. It's a road maintenance vehicle. This is kind of the one bottleneck that I have in town right now. I can see it kind of carries on into this intersection a little bit. Wondering if maybe I just need to utilize it coming off of this intersection. Okay, back to the drawing board again. I think I finally got something a little higher function than what we had before. It is a simple traffic circle. We've got yield signs. It's coming together. I have that third lane here for the traffic that's going that way, which seems to be a lot less at this point. Plenty of traffic coming off there, but not much going on. We'll see if that works long term. Simple solution, of course, is to expand this to a 4-lane through there, as it's all 2-lane exit, so it's it's really only that one little spot where we have. Actually, that might not be a terrible thing to do. That's not how she was written up in the first place, folks, but I made it work. I made it work. Meanwhile, we've jumped to over 8,000, so we've added 2,000 more people here locally, and starting to check in on kind of what we have. And we have no administrative buildings. Oh, that's because we haven't unlocked anything. We do have the one police station. I think it's about time we get something over in these two areas here. They would definitely go a long ways to help us out. Yeah, crime probability is a little bit higher than expected, though number of current criminals was only 3. 2 per month on crimes. That should help cut down on that a fair bit. fire rescue also an issue through this region, so we might want to add something in. Right next door. That cut down that fire hazard quite a bit. Checking in on the healthcare availability. Doing fine, though. It's not great. But we don't have anything higher unlocked. Just the medical clinic for now.
Forest. The billowing clouds of smoke pose a serious health risk to anyone nearby. At this time, all citizens in the affected area are instructed to immediately move to a safe distance until the situation is under control.
Current education numbers, we have the 2 elementaries. About half full, the new one, less so. The high school, starting to get there. 382 eligible, 232 are attending. So almost all of the elementary needs are being met. But college, eligible, 2,600. That's an industry we need to start cashing in on. Speaking of industries we need to cash in on, a little more public transportation. It's time to get a bus depot and get some bus routes on the go. Now, where to put this in? I suppose we kind of have our place down here. Put it next to the Park and Rec location. And just like that, we are a busy town. That was a lot of extra XP. Milestone number 7. 1.6 million. 7 more upgrade points. 9 more tiles. Increase to the low limit. Ore mining is now available to us. And gated communities. I have not been getting into that phase of it. Once we hit big town, I think it'll be about time that I start to actually set up neighborhoods and make rules and restrictions for those. But the bus depot, electric buses, extra garage, that's an expensive one. We don't have that many people, so simple for now. Starting the process of bringing buses to the city, starting in our new area because I had room to put a bus depot there right off the freeway, which is good for, in and out of the city type routes. Speaking of in and out of the city type routes, I need to add more routes in, so that is something I'm definitely planning on doing here in just a moment, because there's a whole nother city that isn't accessed by rail that we want to get through bus. So the bus depot right here, just off our off-ramp, has its first route that I just created. So I've put shelters for each of these. Shelters, it's $400. There is extra maintenance, but shelters make a huge difference. Even during the summer, it rained a lot here, so shelters are going to make a big difference for our population, for our people. But you can see where that first route is going, kind of along the main road. But now it's time to start getting some smaller routes on the go as well. I now have at least one route tied into every single port at the bus station. And it looks like we're going to have to go a little bit more like this to get kind of an overview of what coverage I have. One big route that wraps around through the industrial and back in through the main portion of town. These are all kind of covering the primary routes and not necessarily local streets in the residential. It's definitely the major 4-lane roads that are getting the bus routes. We've got a route going out to the north. We've got a route going out the west finally. So Rotham is connected finally. This is all going to add 6 bus routes at the moment. We'll see what happens when it updates. where that puts us. But in the meantime, people are a little less happy than they were before. What are they worried about? High crime? Unreliable internet service. Okay, that's one to get into. Haven't bothered too much with it. Still haven't put a post office in. I do think we have enough people for that now. So let's handle that one. Other than a couple of empty pockets left, I've now added mail service throughout the city. It's not as bad as I thought it would be when I first looked at what the mailbox was. It was more about just coverage for a region and mailbox capacity of $1,000 to put them down. So it really wasn't an overly difficult thing. It's just about supplying mail service and kind of splitting up how it goes. And I don't have to make the routes for it. That helps. I did radio mass. I don't know. The games had some updates, and some of the work that I did in the previous episode did not make it through. There was some things that were missing this time. We were missing some parks. We were missing our radio mass that I had put in. We just gotta go back and try again. Second time's the charm, and I've once again put down antennas throughout the city, so for the time being it looks like we've got everything covered. It's already had the dramatic effect of getting us back into positivity for happiness. I know a lot of it's covered up by the face cam here, but reliable mail service +6. Spacious homes +6, wealth +5, abundance of entertainment +5, reliable internet service just increased as I was saying it from a +3 to now a +4, now a +5 even. High crime is down to a -2, so that extra police station that we put in is starting to pay dividends. High taxes is only a -1. I've increased it by 1%, so it's not hurting us too much. Abundance of leisure time +1. Good education services +1. It's not great, but it's okay. High noise pollution is only a -1, so we are managing the morale side of things quite well. We have over 2 million that we are hitting a bit of a negative right now. I've added a lot of things that do have some sort of expenditure with them, but a population of 9,000 and climbing with high demand that the moment we put stuff down is going to go very, very quickly by way of, a lot more is going to happen. And I think starting to fill in this pocket is going to be a good way to take care of some of that. Though this is low density kind of 2-lane roads, so I don't really want to put in maybe we're going to squeeze in another small neighborhood here with just some okay, will be demolished soon. It'll take care of itself. That'll help fill things in rather quick. There is some stuff that I kind of wanted to use this area for, but there's our road maintenance depot. Alright folks, well, it's October. Real life and in game. We started in June, I want to say. So it's fall now. It's cooled off a bit. We're seeing a lot more rain. I still have a lot of needs to meet, but we still have this whole pocket right on the other side of the freeway that is ready for residential primarily. So we will probably because I'm going to be in between the recording sessions here. So if I remember when I load up again, maybe I'll make a note. I'll begin with filling out the road structure through that area and filling in some residential, both low and medium density, as that's our big need. We are needing more industrial though, so with that demand coming up, we're definitely going to want to probably expand down into here to keep our industrial on the go. But we're definitely starting to get two sides of the river town going. Industrial to one side, mostly residential and commercial to the other, but I'm happy with the progress we've made. I'm also happy that I've got nine tiles available. I've got 8 upgrade points available that I have not used yet, and that's going to be a good opportunity for us. I snuck in some residential out here, but haven't added services for it, so this little rural street is going to have its challenges. And there's also that big pocket, so I'm going to want to add at least one road and add in a little more if I'm going to give them services, like a medical clinic or something along those lines. We already have that road that's coming across here, so when we get in, we'll connect up to that road. We will get the industry going in this other area and, continue on with that project from there. So plenty to do. Gosh, there's always plenty to do. It's one of the nice things. Constant growth.
Forget to look up this evening.
That second forest industry has done a lot to create some surplus, which is helping bring in some money. Grain we've done a lot with, but we still have a major deficit. In fact, we're covering less than half of what's necessary, but there's only so many pockets out there. So we got to just do what we can and deal with the rest. Two of the best areas for farming, unfortunately,
Did you say panic? She said panic.
ended up in the early city.
We've got to get out of here.
You go, I'll stay and clear
We
up
could definitely
the mess.
produce some more
We'll be back
other
in days.
areas, though. The cotton we're just getting started on, and even then we have the deficit. It's a lot to do. A lot to do if we're going to get things in a more profitable type state. Service upkeeps has grown by about 400K. And our revenue has grown by about 600K, so we're definitely headed the right direction, or at least 500K anyway. Service trade, at electricity that's being exported. Of course, slowly but surely it's less and less, but our service fees have gone up astronomically. We had almost nothing, now it's 244,000. Parking fees over 7,000 now. Water fees, garbage fees, healthcare fees, just 2,000. Education fees, though, that's a big one that we need to cash in on some more. 2 elementary schools and 1 high school doesn't cut it. We need to get into a college, so that's going to be, I think, one of those first next things to get into. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.